Morning to you. Hope you're all well, and welcome to Monday's Thought for the Day. It was lovely to be at church yesterday morning, to be with people, even knowing that it would be the last time for at least 4 weeks that we'd be able to be physically together as we plan for another lockdown starting this coming Thursday. I don't know about you, but it does seem a bit more difficult this second time around. And I suppose if you're like me, you may be tired of seeing every news programme and every newspaper focusing on COVID-19. And it seems that not very much else exists outside the world of COVID. But of course it does. There are some things greater than COVID. I just googled COVID-19 and it came up with an incredible amount, 5,940,000,000 results for COVID-19 on Google. I haven't gone through them all just yet. I'm saving that for another day. But I think many of us, haven't we, in recent months have had that sense of things being dismantled, of things being taken apart, so that we're no longer sure where we stand or whether normal life will ever return, whether normal life will be rebuilt in the way that we remember it. And for those of us who perhaps that's been the case, I'd suggest you look at the reading we had in the sermon that we looked at this morning, 1 Peter chapter 2. And I'm cheating a little bit because I'm going over some of the same ground that I preached about yesterday morning. But I just think it's important to have a sense of where we are and where we really are. Because that verse, that chapter gives a wonderful sense of security and stability when we may not feel that, because it talks of Jesus as the cornerstone. And maybe I'm aware, according to recent media reports and my own understanding as well, that a lot of people have been turning to faith. They've been tuning into stream services, joining in prayer in recent weeks. And it seems as though there's a lot of people turning to something that feels sure, as a strong foundation when everything else seems to be in flux. And that's to me, that seems like a positive thing. So once again, we're not going to be able to worship within the physical building at St Albans, but we know that church is not that building that's built of bricks and mortar. It's a building, as I said yesterday morning, it's a building built of people. And that's not to say that our physical building isn't important, because that building, St Albans, that building on Ashmore Park, is a physical proclamation of faith. It's a possible attraction, a draw, a place to come and gather for those who seek. But of course the church is fundamentally the people, not the building. Peter says, like living stones, let yourself be built into a spiritual house. So what does that mean for us to be stones in the house of God? Firstly, we're not alone. That's really important. We're not alone. We're part of a greater whole. Our faith isn't an individual thing, it's a communal thing. And that's one of the reasons it's people find it difficult not to be able to physically gather within the church building. We are a people, we are God's people, and whatever God does, however Christ transforms things, it is for us together communally not just for me individually or you individually and apart. Because a brick by itself is just a brick, but built together, fixed with mortar, joined with care, bricks can become more, can't they? They can become a shelter, a haven, a home. And if we're living stones, we matter. We are church wherever we are, connected to each other and connected within our communities. As I said in the sermon this morning, we are church at home, at work, when we're shopping, when we're on holiday. In fact, wherever we are church. And each of us is different. Each of us is unique. Each of us has giftings. And we all each need one another. If you take just one brick out of a wall, yeah, the wall will stand, but it won't be the same. There'll always be that gap. Each one of us is needed to build the church, the spiritual house. You matter. You matter to God, and you matter. We all matter to each other. And we're built, aren't we? And this is the point. We're built on the foundation of Jesus. A foundation that's deeper than the deepest man-made foundation. You know, Manhattan, the foundations aren't very deep there because the rock there is so firm and steady that they can build these huge skyscrapers on just a small foundation, because the foundation underneath is deep and deep, strong rock. And Jesus is the cornerstone. The cornerstone gives stability to a building. It gives direction, and all the other stones are set in reference to that one. It determines the position and the structure of the whole. And if Jesus is the cornerstone, the way, the truth, and the life, and he is the foundation on which we can build with confidence. However sometimes shallow we might feel, or however shallow we feel our foundation is, particularly if we look elsewhere for our foundation. You know, Jesus wasn't just someone to be remembered as an ethical teacher or a healer. He's integral to our lives. He is the cornerstone. So this spiritual house we build together, this community we form, is called to do the same things as our physical building. We're called to be a visible proclamation of faith, to be attractive, to be a draw, to be a place for people to come, for those who seek, to welcome, to heal, and to feed the hungry. And us not being able to meet physically actually reinforces that calling, because it's more important than ever that we heed it during this time. We're called to be light in the world. We're called to give hope at times like this. So we are church, we can be church, even though we don't meet physically. And COVID-19 has at times felt as though it's threatened that spiritual house that we've been built into, but it can't. It won't destroy us. I was reading today that some Christians were writing on Facebook, people that I know, saying we should be allowed to meet. We should be allowed to continue to meet. But we still have our cornerstone. We still have our foundation. It's still there. It's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And as we move together, apart, of course, during these times, we're building a new spiritual house. Some of the bricks are the same, some are new, all are needed and all are vital. We're aligned by our fellowship, our care for one another, our foundation. And that foundation will never fail. Amen. And I'll speak to you again on Thursday, which is the 5th, isn't it? The 5th of November, the first day of the new lockdown. So you look after yourselves, take care. God bless. Bye-bye.